Ahmet Erdogan, who was the head of Atlantic Records, and our producer, Shadow Morton, came up with this concept album. And, you know, we said, oh, what's the idea? Well, basically the idea is this. Music has spanned time. Right? Through that time, all these crazy things happened. You had the World War II, World War I, you have civil rights, black power, you have all these crazy things, you know, fighting against mankind. And we wanted to take this idea of music goes through time, through all these crazy things. So if you put the needle on, you hear all this weird stuff. You hear Churchill going, the first atomic bomb was bombed. And then you have Sieg Heil in one speaker, Black Power in the other speaker. And it's all this mad stuff about, you know, all these socialism and crazy stuff that went on, you know, politics. And then we went through this thing where we played probably 7 pieces of music, which was like one minute of Mozart, next minute, like a little further in history, and then 1920s, you know, like ragtime, 1930s, big band, 1940s, big band, 50s, like Elvis Presley, 60s, the Beatles, and we were in the 60s. You know, that's supposed to show a little bit of historical musicality. And then the only thing we did musical was we did the Moonlight Sonata, Fleur de Lis, rock style. So we had a rock symphony. That was great. The rest of the album, you know, the essence like to say our names and what. You know, so I said something like, "Hi, I'm Carmine Appice. If you want to hear me talk to you, I talk to you through my drums. So listen to my drums." You know. So when they pieced it all together, I mean, it was an amazing piece of technical recording because we were recording on 8-track. And you know, when you listen to all the stuff that's on this record, it was amazing. So when it's finished, we all listen to it, you know. He knows everybody used to smoke a joint, you know, and you listen to the stuff. So we were all together with the manager, and we all listened to it. After I heard the whole thing, I said to myself, this is horrible. I looked at Tim Bogan, my partner, bass player. What do you think? He goes, this sucks. Look at my manager, what do you think? I don't know why we did this. Guitar player, Ahmet Erdogan, and keyboard player and all that. This is amazing. This is the best thing since the Beatles, since Sgt. Pepper. And I'm like, you guys are crazy, man. Sure enough, they were crazy, because that album came out and ruined our career. Okay? It wrecked everything we built up. And all we had to do was re-record stuff that we did. Now, our main thing was taking arrangements, making arrangements to songs, like You Keep Me Hanging On. You guys know Vanilla Fudge, You Keep Me Hanging On? It goes, set me free, why don't you, babe? And that tempo. You just keep me hanging on. You know? The lyrics in that song was pretty good. Set me free, why don't you, babe? Feel happy. Listen to the lyrics. Set me free, you know, you keep me hanging on. It's a hurting love song. So we slowed it down and gave it the emotion that it needed. We did that to a lot of songs. We did Eleanor Rigby on the first album. Eleanor Rigby sounds, you know, like about churches, about graveyard. So we gave it this really eerie, weird feeling. We did People Get Ready, like Curtis Mayfield. We gave it our own touch. We made it like a gospel song. I actually sang that. And we had like our voices were like choirs, you know, like you're in church or something, you know. So we always tried to do that. And we did that. And this album sold ridiculous, you know. So we already had stuff in the can, like songs like Bob Dylan's Like a Rolling Stone, Season of the Witch by Donovan. We had You Can't Do That by the Beatles. We had One More Heartache by Marvin Gaye. We had all these things recorded already. So all we had to do was do it again. It's like McDonald's, you know, how did they get so big? They just repeated the recipe over and over and over around the world. But we didn't do that. So in turn, we had to rush into the studio and do another album fast. So we took one song called Season of the Witch. We released that as a single while we were recording. And we also said, well, while we're recording, let's write originals, because all the critics were saying that we suck because we didn't write originals. But meanwhile, all our music was original. We had like a 3-minute interlude into every song and an outro, which is our music. And how did we get screwed on that? It's another story. Okay? This is all food for thought for you guys. So I'm sitting in a movie theater and watching the movie called The Zodiac Killers of San Francisco. Everybody see that movie, Zodiac? Everybody see that? Yeah. Okay, so I'm sitting in the movies. I love movies. That's really my hobby. And the guy goes in, he's in a taxi, he's driving a taxi, and he's killing somebody in the taxi. And they got this music behind it. I'm going, I know this music. What is this music? Wait a minute. This is Vanilla Fudge. I said, yeah, I'm talking to my girlfriend. This is Vanilla Fudge. Because it is? What song? I go, I can't remember what song, but I think it might be the intro to the song Bang Bang. I said, oh, cool. So next day I get on the phone with Atlantic Records. Oh, yeah, we got the license for that. And blah, blah, blah. Well, what about the songwriting? Because, well, the songwriting was Sonny Bono because it was the song Bang Bang. I said, yeah, but not one bar of his music was in that. This was our music. He says, yeah, but it's credited on your album as saying Bang Bang, Sonny Bono. I said, right. I said, man, again, screwed. Okay? So what we should have done was taken all the interludes and copyright them. This way, if it's interlude to Bang Bang, we would have got paid the extra $25,000 for us, not to Sonny Bono, who's dead. You don't need it. You know? But it's an example of total music business that you don't even realize. So any kind of piece of music that's attached to a song, if you write an introduction you think is really worthy, you should title it and copyright it. So, and the other thing is, most drummers, this is mostly for drummers, and anyone really, try and get songwriting. You probably know that, you live in Nashville here. Songwriting is the biggest money maker in the industry. Maybe merchandising might be equal to it. But you write a big song. I co-wrote Do You Think I'm Sexy with Rod Stewart. Okay? 1978. That thing still makes 6 numbers in dollars every year. Still, to this day. Okay? And I'm telling you, that song made millions and millions of dollars. And that's where it's at. So drummers, I know it's hard because you don't know how to play anything but drums. You should learn something. Guitar, keyboard, theory, any way you can get involved in doing songwriting. Because if you don't, what happens is the guitar player rides around in a Lamborghini and you have a Volkswagen. And that's the truth. So, just a little advice. Okay?
Thank you.
Everybody else?
Can you tell us some favorites, favorite people you've worked with, favorite songs you've played, favorite venues, anything cool over your years?
Favorite songs on albums over the years? Well, there's so many of those. You Keep Me Hanging On was one of them. On a Cactus album, there's a song called Parchment Farm, which is a really fast double bass drum shuffle. Another Cactus album, a song called Evil, which is one I love. Then, I guess go to Rod. I was playing Hot Legs, Passion. I like Do You Think I love Do You Think I'm Sexy before Tom Dowd put all the strings and everything else on it. Because it was a real raunchy raw drum. And bass basically the loudest on the demo mixes we did. Jeff Beck, Superstition, Living Alone and Lady. After Jeff, who came next? That was Rod Stewart. Ted Nugent. I didn't go crazy over the songs that we did with Ted. There was one called Fighting Man or something, which I liked. Ted. After Ted was Ozzy. I didn't play on any of the album, but I did do the Bark at the Moon video. and I was associate producer of the album. So I would say Bob DeMoon and Ozzy. Had a group called Blue Murder. The song Blue Murder and Billy were my favorite songs. I have an album which I have for sale over the Birds Day. It's called Carmine Appice's Guitar Zeus. On this album is everybody: Brian May, Slash, Ingrid Malmsteen, Steve Morse, Mick Mars, even Steven Seagal is playing guitar. And there's some great tracks on there. I like all those tracks. So there's probably a handful I really like. So. Anybody else? Come on, guys. You don't want me to play it, do you? All right, so, here we go.
Questions. Being, having all the touring and the celebrity status and all that, how do you manage your family life, balancing that and business?
How do I manage that lifestyle? Well, not too well. I've been married 5 times. But it wasn't because of that. I love being on the road. A lot of guys my age, I'm 43, and a lot of guys my age, just hate the road. I like the road, I just got off this Michael Schenker tour. We did 5 weeks straight, and I had a ball. I just love the fact that you never know what's going to happen every day. You wake up and you go through the day, certain things happen. How's the gig going to be? People, are they going to be a good audience? What's going to happen? Who are you going to meet? So I like all that stuff. And in the old days, we used to travel by plane everywhere. We used to tour with Vanilla Fudge and Jimi Hendrix. And for me, it's really wild to go into like a museum, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, or the Jimi Hendrix Museum, and see some of the clothes that Jimmy wore in glass containers. Because, he got a lot of them from the guy that we turned them on to, and made our clothes, Vanilla Fudge. Now I'm seeing them in the glass container, and I'm doing, I remember when he wore that. So I remember the shoes, I remember the clothes. And, so I just like being out there doing that and seeing the world. There's still places I haven't been to. Next week I'm going to Italy. And there's a few cities I'm going to. I'm doing gigs and clinics. I'm going to Spain, and never been to Biblo, Spain. Never been there. I've been to Russia, which I've never been to. And I like it. And even to make things even worse, my kids live on the West Coast in LA, and my girlfriend lives in New York. So even when I'm off the road, I'm on the road. Right? 2 weeks there, 2 weeks there, So I love to travel. And I like don't mind being on planes, because that's the only time my cell phone don't ring. I'm surprised it hasn't rung today. But it's Saturday, that's probably why. But and I love it. And again, and I try and sleep right and eat healthy while I'm doing it. Anybody else? Okay, now we got a flow.
When you're off the road, how do you maintain or what kind of practice routine do you have to stay in shape?
Unfortunately, in my career stage, I don't do a lot of practicing off the road, unless I'm wanting to learn something new. When I learn something new, I go for gung-ho. 2 weeks, for when I was doing that thing that I was talking about, that took me about 2 weeks to get it together. So I was always doing it. When I'm trying to learn something new, I always do it. I keep doing it. And usually in about 2 weeks, I get it down to where I have it down, and then I apply it when I'm in front of an audience. Instead of like do or die. You do it. If it screws up, hey, it screws up. If it don't, you say, wow, I did it. So I used to, in the 70s, have a drum studio, and I used to teach at it, and that used to give me my practice. But I don't do it that much anymore. I should. Some of my friends that still practice 5 hours a day, like Terry Dozier, You know? But he's always looking to expand and find new frontiers. I'm not. I'm looking to have a good time, play, you know, share what I have, and just do it. Somebody else have one?
It's going to be kind of an open-ended question. I was wondering about your stick technique. At one point it looked like you were flipping sticks over your hands. I was wondering if there's a particular reason for that other than it's cool. And I'm also interested in all the instruments that you have to choose. What do you strike at any particular time? How do you choose which drums or cymbals to play depending on the piece you're doing? That's pretty open-ended.
How much time you got? 10 minutes. What was the first part of that question? My hand. Okay, this is a grip. I use a weird grip. I play in between these two fingers like a peace sign. Put the stick in there and I play like that. And I do the spin. Believe it or not, the spin is being developed with me into part of the rhythm. You know, when I'm hitting the drum, let me go back to the drums again. Okay, you know, if I'm going like, it's part of that rhythm. I'm feeling that the twirl becomes part of it, like. You know, it becomes part of what I'm doing, you know, and